Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's stream. Welcome to Friday, May 20th. Glad you're here. I don't know what kind of a turnout we're going to get. There seems to be 4 or 5 of you here right now. Hello Joe, hello Jay, thanks for joining me tonight. Glad you guys like the music. I hope a few more people join. I know it was kind of a last minute idea to do the stream. I was planning on doing it tomorrow, so to speak. But then I had an opportunity arise tonight, became available, and I wanted to talk about the topic while it was still fresh on my mind. So again, welcome. If you're here in the chat, please say hello, and then we'll, go over to the chat and greet you guys. But right now there's not too many people here, but I see it's growing. We're up to 7. We got 1 like. So yes, if you are here, please go ahead and hit that like button, and we'll get started on the main topic pretty soon. So I hope everybody's doing well. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what your temperature, what your weather's like. It's been like super hot here today, and tomorrow is another hot day. We were in the mid 90s today, 95 yesterday, and it's hot and humid. But I guess it's better than the alternative, which is heavy rains and snow in some part of the country. So in any event, let me go over to the chat and say hello to a few folks. So hello, Joe from Controlling Technologies. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, that's Jay, actually. Hi, Jay. Jay's saying hello to Joe. Hello, Joe. Thank you for joining. You guys like the music. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for joining. I'm glad you were able to catch the live as well. Hey, Sean, good evening from New Jersey. Good evening from North Carolina. Finally starting to hit the 70s. Yeah, you guys are usually, being a former Jersey, and you guys are usually a month or so behind us, maybe, but it'll get there. Joe says 65 today in New England, and Jay is saying 88, hot and humid. So we have 9 folks here for likes, so please go ahead, hit that like button. Say hello as you join, and yeah, I guess we'll get started on the main topic. Let me just key up something here so it's ready to go. Okay, so why am I doing this stream? You saw the name of it. It's called My Synology Support Experience. Let me give you a little history to what the events that led up to this. When Synology started to support DSM bare metal backup and restore, I got super excited about that. And I immediately dove in and started testing and exploring and playing with it. And as you know, I have tons of Synology videos on my channel. I do hyper backup stuff, all different kinds of things, but I was really excited about the bare metal restore feature. So in fact, about a month ago, I released the bare metal backup video, and I gave the steps on how to do all that. And that worked like a charm. So Tony being Tony, obviously the second plan was, the second part of the plan was, well, we showed you how to do the bare metal backup, right, to an offsite NAS or to a second NAS. Let's now see the restore in action. So that was what I set out to do about a week and a half ago. I started to play with making the video, and of course, I was using lab equipment. So I had to simulate a failure, right? Because the whole idea of doing the bare metal restore is if your device fails, you should be able to literally purchase a new one, take it out of the box, and do a restore from a backup. So to simulate that failure, I basically went into the DS920. Let me see if I can bring that up here and pop that on the screen. Okay, I basically went into the DS920, and to simulate the failure, I just came into the control panel and went to update and restore and did a system reset. And you can see here it erases all the data. Now, what that does is brings the Synology back to the out-of-the-box state. So with that, I simulated the failure. I blew away the 920 plus. There wasn't a lot of data on it. Like I said, it was a lab NAS, a lab device. I was using it for an RTMP server and things of the sort. So I blew it away, and the intent was to now see if I could restore it. I had the backup, bare metal backup going to the 1621 plus. So the object here was to see if now I can restore that DS920 plus back to its former state from the backup on the 1621 plus. And that's where things kind of went south, because the plan was, if the restore had worked, I would have then blown it away again, either in a live stream to show you that process live or make a video about it, but we didn't get that far. So once you do that system reset, it's like getting that unit back out of the box, and it gets to a point where you can use Synology Assistant or find.synology.com, or if you know the IP address, you can pull it up in a browser and begin the installation of DSM. So with that said, I'm going to show you some of the process. So I did that. I blew it away. I got to that point where I was at the welcome screen to install DSM, and I did that. I got that far. The DSM was installed completely and successfully, but then instead of going to the next step and configuring the admin account and setting up the Quik Connect and all that, at the bottom of that screen, there's a restore from backup link. And I'm going to show you now what happened as I attempted to restore from that bare metal backup from the 1621 plus. I actually made this video because part of the support process was to send them as much information as I could. Also, I do want to say this. This is not a rant. This is actually a video that I'm doing because the support was so stellar that I thought it was just worth sharing. It was very timely. It was very efficient. It was very effective. And I was just blown away by it. I couldn't believe it. I figured, hey, I'm just like a nobody, right? They're not going to give 2 cents about what I say or the problems I'm having, but that was not the case at all. And let me do mention, before I roll this one little clip, let me do mention the fact that Synology is aware that I am talking about this in a live stream, because I'm not a partner. I don't get paid by them. Sometimes they do send me gear to do videos on. For example, I did receive, just this week, I did receive the RT6600AX, which I'm excited to dive into and learn more about. But aside from, occasionally getting some gear to do videos on, I'm not affiliated with Synology in any way, but I did reach out to my rep because I wanted their permission to talk about this, because yes, I have to say that something was not working in order to talk about the main part of the video, which is the level of support that I received that I was so impressed with. So I did reach out to my contact, and I don't think he's here in the chat tonight, but he was curious. He gave me the go ahead. He basically, I explained how impressed I was with the process and that I thought it would be worth sharing because there are so many Synology users out in YouTube land that, it would be worth noting and sharing so that they get a sense of feeling confidence in the company. So that said, again, just full disclosure, they do know about this, but they did not script anything. In fact, the email I got back from my contact basically said, go ahead, man, go for it. Tell it like it happened. And that's the extent of it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So here we are. I'm going to set the stages. I blew the thing away. I installed DSM. And then I'm at that point now. I'm going to start the video. I'm at that point where I would click on the restore from backup link on the bottom of that page. So hopefully this will roll and you'll see the live video. And that did not work. Whoops, that's why. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so I clicked on the restore link. There's no audio. I'll narrate it. And on this screen, what's happening is I'm just authenticating to the 1621 plus with the IP address and the username and password. And now it's just saying the certificate's self-signed. Do you want to proceed? And I said yes. And here we're just picking I'm just going to pause that for a second. On that last screen, we just basically picked the backup task because it did authenticate successfully to the 1621 plus. And on this screen now that you're looking at pause, it's just asking which version would I like to back up from, because there were several versions backed up at that point. So I'm selecting the version and I'm about to click next. And we're proceeding. It's giving us a confirmation, and you can see here it's preparing. It looks like it's working. It's creating the volumes here, and it all looks good, right? Until this happens. And you can see right there, it says recovery incomplete, and you basically have three options. You can if it keeps failing, you can download the log up on the blue link there in the paragraph. You could reset the system, which will take you back to the screen to reinstall DSM all over again. Or if you hit the blue button, you can retry the recovery again, and it just becomes a vicious circle and it keeps coming back to this screen here because the recovery does fail. So that's what was happening. Before contacting Synology, obviously I did my own troubleshooting. I had installed extra RAM, so I said, all right, let me pull out the RAM. Maybe it just doesn't like the fact that I installed additional RAM. So I pulled out the RAM and I did the whole thing again, and it failed again. And then I said, it says it seems to be failing at the point where it's trying to create the volume. So wonder if it has something to do with the NVMe drives. So I shut the device down. The memory was out. I pulled out the NVMe drives, and it still failed. So I even reseated all the four main drives. I said, let me just take the drives out of the picture, because it seems to, again, be failing on that point in the restore process where it's trying to create the volume. And that said, that's when I decided to contact Synology support. So let me show you. Let me bring this up on the screen here again. Let me just get it up ready to go. And then maybe we'll go back to the chat and say, hey. Okay, there we go. Let me flip over. Okay, so here is, I'm signed in to my Synology.com account, and here is my support ticket for this recent chain of events that happened, this bare metal DSM recovery failure. So the thing I really want to point out, I'm not going to go through all of it with you and read every single one to you, but the thing I really want to point out that I was fascinated by was, I don't know if you could see this, but you're going to have to trust me on this. I opened the ticket on May 12th, and if I scroll all the way to the bottom, we had a resolution by May 19th. Now, in between that time, you can see a lot of correspondence between myself and Synology support. A lot of this right here is me because they were asking me to send them as much information as possible. These are all screenshots. I took individual screenshots and sent them to them. I sent them the debug log, and then I also sent them that video that I just rolled and showed you guys. I figured screenshots are good, right? But maybe it would be better if they actually saw the process happening as it took place. So that's up to this point here, which is 5/13, which is day 2. I did get a response, and they asked me to download the log, which I had already done and sent to them. Throughout the process, they had also asked for the logs from not only the 920 plus, but from the DS1621 plus, and I had given them that. And at one point, I believe it was here, it says, thanks for taking the support guy called me on the phone, which was the first point where I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. I actually got a call from support, and I'm not just talking to a computer screen here via, support chat. So what we did was he asked me to go ahead and restore the 920 plus back with a full working DSM and then install the active backup for business agent on the 920 again, and then try the process one more time, and it didn't work. And I think prior to that, up in this area here, oh, I know what it was. Here he said he'll go ahead and escalate it to the developers, but before he did that, he then asked for remote access to both devices. So I gave him remote access to both the 920 Plus and the 1621 Plus. And at that point, after reviewing that, he came back and he had said to me, I really don't see anything. So I'm going to escalate it now up to the developers in Taiwan. I was like, okay, cool. So that was on 5/16. And again, we had a little back and forth, but then from 5/16, let me see what the last one says here. Thanks for setting it up, the agent again. He says on 5/16, I went ahead and I've escalated the issue to our developers for further review. And then he pointed out here to please note that they're located in Taiwan and due to the time zone difference, et cetera, that it could take some time, but he would get back to me. Well, that was on 5/16, and on 5/19, I got this. And he said, the developers have found the following. And I had to read this 2 or 3 times to make sense of it. And I even asked him for a phone call for some more clarification after reading this. And he did call me that day. In fact, we spoke 5 times. And if I'm just going to highlight here, it says get pool size local and pool size remote. And they were basically saying there was a difference of about 18 gig in the pool sizes. And also that they found that the volume format was different. So when I did the backup when I initiated the task, the 920 had a format version of V8 is what they called it, version 8. When I blew it away and reinstalled DSM over so that I could then go ahead and do the restore, when the DSM installed, it installed partition version 9, right? So there was a discrepancy in the partition version, in the partition layouts, version 8, version 9. So that's what they found. And he asked me, and at that point I was like, okay, let's hold on right there. Is it anything I did? And he said, no, not at all. This is all on the developers. It's something, in fact, I'll show you here. Because I just wanted to make sure, like, if I did something stupid or I did something wrong in the process, that, I make note not to do that again. But his response to my question, and it even says here, where is it? After checking this, it is found that there is indeed a misjudgment when estimating the pool size. The developers will fix this problem in a he says feature release. I don't know if he meant future or feature, but in any event, at that point, he had called me and he said, listen, the developers just got back to me with another thing to try. They want to bring since there was a fresh install of DSM on this 920, which there has to be. That's what and I said to the guy, the only way to get to the ability to get the restore process going is there has to be a DSM on the machine. So if installing the DSM is actually creating the problem because it's installing the wrong partition layout, well, that's something that it's not going to work for anybody until that gets rectified. And he said, yes, that is correct. And that's what they're working on fixing in, I guess, a future release. However, what they wanted him to try, him being the support tech, is they wanted him to go in and change the partition layout on the DS920 back to version 8. And he had to do that. He had to actually telnet into the device, and we were on the phone, and we were trying different things. And using telnet, which I haven't used in I can't tell you how many years, but he ran the command, changed the partition layout back to version 8, and then he asked me to run the restore, go through the whole process again. So I did. I blew it away and got to that part in the screen where I clicked on I showed you in that video where it clicked on the restore from a backup and went through all the process, and it backed up successfully, and it did restore that DS920 back to its original state. So I know I talked a lot, but I thought that was worth sharing because realistically, we got from a problem reported on May 12th through a problem resolved on May 19th, and hopefully it's going to get fixed in a future release so that that partition layout discrepancy won't be an issue, and the backup, the DSM bare metal backup, will restore successfully for others. So I was just impressed. I just couldn't believe the response I was getting, not only in how often we communicated on the ticket here, but the fact that I actually spoke with the tech who was handling me. His name was Ben, multiple times over multiple days. So I was pretty impressed with that, and I thought it was just worth sharing. So that's that, and that's what I did with that. So let me go back to the comments and see if there's any comments or if anybody else joined us. Let's see. Okay, yep, I think this is where we left off. Let me bring them up on the screen. Practical IT, Jeremy says 84 and humid in Michigan. TVJ says we're in Michigan and near Toledo. Hey, David, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I'm glad you were able to get here and be part of one of the lives. Oh, Sean, that's great to hear that you had good experiences. Yeah, like for me, I have to tell you, I own 3 Synology devices and they all work. They just work, and everything I've pretty much tried to do with them up at this point, again, just worked. So this was the first time I actually had to reach out and create a support ticket. So again, thinking like, all right, here I am. I'm a small YouTube channel, not a lot of subscribers, like, yeah, right. No, I was like blown away, especially when I got that support call. Now, I asked for a support call after I got the clarification from the developers. Yes, I asked for a support call for some more, talk to me a little bit more like in layman's terms. But as far as the initial call, that was generated from Ben. I didn't request anything. That came out of nowhere. In fact, when the call came in, I looked at it. I typically don't answer my phone if the number's not in my contact list. And I looked at it and I looked at it and I looked at it and I went, I don't know, something said to me, answer the call, and I'm so glad I did. So anyway, yep. TVJ says, I love a company that's all about the truth. There you go. Yeah, the experience was great. Hey, DJ Ware, thanks for joining. Let's see what else we got. DJ Ware says, oh, TVJ says, good, just glad the week is over. Yeah, and it was a hot one here. Did I miss something in the chat? DJ Ware says only outputs RTSP. We'll fork the project and fix that. Okay. Where am I here? Chat just jumped. We all know who says that. Hey, there he is. Speak of the devil. Unky Joe, thanks for joining. Oh, so you probably caused the chat to jump, Unky Joe. TVJ says, I used Telnet in several times today still. Wow. All right. Yeah, that really is great support. Look, granted, it's beta, right? So the actual bare metal backup and restore for DSM. I mean, they've had bare metal backup for PC, for servers, etc., virtual machines, but the actual DSM bare metal backup is beta. So yeah, is there, I'm sure there was some drive to also want to get as much information as possible to, you know, get it resolved, because they want to eventually, I'm sure, move it out of beta. But still, in any result, I got an end result, which is what I wanted. And hey, yeah, I'll take it. Thanks for the info. Good to hear they took care of it. Yes, yes. Sean says, one time they sent me free HD 3.5 screws for a rack station with no charge for shipping. Cool. Yeah, David, I agree. That's why I wanted to do this live stream. And again, like, I did reach out to them for their permission, only because I had to mention the fact that, something failed, right? So in order to talk about the level of support, they had to understand I had to mention that. And they were totally cool with it. Like I said, they were like, go for it. Tell it like it happened. So, yeah. Hello, Raymond Rivera. Thank you for joining. 17,000. No, it's not too bad, but I'm a relatively small channel, but thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you watching. Sean says, I have an RS-819 sitting next to me right now. Our org has deployed over 230 RS-815 pluses. Wow. 816 and 819. And I could count on one hand with missing finger how many RMAs I have. Right. TVJ says, I have 2 Synology units that are doing active backup for business. How easy is it to change to full metal backup? It's pretty straightforward, Jay. Not hard at all. We can talk about that offline if you want. We use the units specifically for surveillance station in our retail stores. Cool. Do the units need to be the same? No, but you need to make sure that it's equal to or subsequent. So, in other words, I can't go from a DS920 Plus to a DS216, right? I can't go from a 4-bay NAS, a newer 4-bay NAS, to an older 2-bay NAS, but I could definitely go up, right? So it's equal to or subsequent. Raymond Rivera says, the only problem I've got with Synology support is they were not able to help me with Cloudflare DNS. Interesting. But the rest of the support experience was great. That's awesome to hear. David says, I still have new PSU sitting in a box that I cannot trust, for which I received no support. Sean says, I haven't looked into bare metal for Synology NAS. Does it support their C2 platform? Sean, I believe it does. I have not gotten that far into testing, but I do recall when I was exploring that I did see something about that, but please don't quote me on that. So, but I do believe it does, yes. Okay, so how we doing here? Oh, wow. So we've been live for about 33 minutes. That's not too bad. I didn't think this was going to be a long live stream. Again, I just wanted to share the experience that I had with them. I'm so happy it's fixed, right? I mean, I guess the next step is I could do I don't know. I'm not sure I could do the actual video on the bare metal restore until the developers fix that glitch, because if I blow it away again and install DSM-7 again, I'm going to get the same result. I'm going to get the wrong partition layout installed. So I guess I'm going to have to wait until the release is done. But it's pretty simple to do once it's working the way it's supposed to be working. So let's see. If we don't have any other questions, maybe I'll just start to bring it to a close. I did mention that Synology did send this to me. Actually, I did request it. I did reach out to my rep last week, and he was kind enough to send it along. So video will be coming on the RT6600 8X. I'm looking forward to it, diving into that and getting it set up here in the lab. What else this week? I got some other equipment. It's downstairs. I got a bunch of Ubiquiti gear, Wi-Fi 6 access points, a couple of Switch 8 lights, and a Switch 16. What else did I get? What I'm still having a problem on getting are some of the edge routers, and I'm looking for an actual alternative. It's in the same price point. There are alternatives. Like, I mean, I could go with OpenSense, but I don't want to spend that kind of money on a Protectly box to put in a client's home, that kind of thing. This guy's a little big, but also it's in the price point of, you know, what the Edge Router 4. I mean, I think it's $199 retail. Don't quote me on that. And I was thinking, hey, if I could disable the Wi-Fi and then just use it as a router and then do the typical home installation that we do, which is, you know, router, switches, multiple access points for full whole home coverage. Yeah, I know it has built-in Wi-Fi, but at this point, supply is so hard to come by. It's like, wow, you know, like, what do you do? So in any event, I am still on the search for a decently priced router that could take the place of either an Edge Router XSFP or an Edge Router 4. So, yeah. Let's see. And I think there's probably going to be a couple of videos, to be honest with you, Jay. There's so many features that I learned that I want to learn about that I think if I did one video, it would just be way too long. So I think the first video, I think the first video is going to be the typical, you know, unboxing, specs, basic setup, and yeah. DJ Ware, does the Synology router support 10 gig? No. I believe it will do 2.5 on the WAN, but that's it. And then there's 1 gig LAN port. So I believe there's a dedicated 2.5. And again, I haven't opened. No, hold on. I'm not sure why I'm guessing. Let me just pull it open and see. But what I was going to say was I believe there's a dedicated 2.5 WAN port and a configurable one of the WAN port. No, a 2.5 dedicated WAN port, and one of the LAN ports, I believe, of the 4 is configurable to either WAN or LAN, but at 1 gig. So let me just see. I'll show you this. I'll give you a better view of this in a second, but I just want to, I need to put on my glasses. Joe, no comments, Joe. Okay, so yeah. My overhead camera, I don't have my overhead camera on because of some recent SRT testing and stuff and decoders that I still have plugged in, but let me see if I can show this to you. So on the back, I don't know how in focus it is, but right where my finger is here, the blue port, that's a 2.5 WAN. And then you have your 4 yellow LAN ports. And the first LAN port right here is, I believe, it actually is configurable WAN or LAN, but at 1 gig. So pretty nice looking device. It's got obviously a lot of the spider, you know, spider ears, I call them, the antennas. But yeah, more coming on this in a video. So I hope, let's see, where was that? Darn chat, there we go. So I hope that answers your question, DJ. I agree with you on this, Sean. I hope they do come out with a rack mount. You're welcome. Yes, TVJ, it can be configured to do dual WAN as well. Yes. So anyway, well, cool. We got 10 of you here, which isn't bad for a Friday night, figuring folks got things to do. And this was kind of an unexpected live stream. Like I said, something just came up. where the evening became available. So I said, hey, you know what? Instead of doing it on a Saturday, you know, maybe we can plan to do something with the family on a Saturday. Let me do this tonight. And I wanted to also kind of talk about it while it was still fresh in my mind, so to speak. And I know already since it happened that I went through that so fast, and I know I probably skipped things, but you get the gist of it, right? I had a failure. I did my own troubleshooting. When I exhausted my own troubleshooting, I contacted support. Support asked me for all kinds of documentation, right? We went back and forth, this, that. We tried this, try that. We did some testing together. Bottom line is they escalated it. Fortunately, they came up with a discrepancy that they saw that wasn't user caused. Yay. That they hopefully will work on in a future release. And again, some more testing, some more trial and error, and then we got it to work. So, you know, I guess I could have said that the whole gist in a nutshell, but then that would have been like a 30-second live stream, right? I do want to mention another potential live stream, because I only do like one a month. I don't really do live streams weekly like a lot of the other guys do, but I try to do it once a month. And this month there may be two, tonight's, and then I think I have one scheduled, like a collaboration next Saturday with. I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning this. You know, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I was on a call today with a guy named Avi from Israel. His YouTube channel is Tech Me Out. A lot of you guys probably have seen his content. He's a really nice guy, really knowledgeable guy. I've had several Google Meet conversations with him over the last 8 or 9 months. The two previous calls were with him and another gentleman by the name of Frank from Wonder Tech, another, you know, super cool, excellent YouTube channel to check out. So we've kind of become friends over the months. And anyway, was on this call today with Avi, and he's been trying to get snapshot replication to work over the internet, right? Not just to a second NAS on the same LAN, but a remote NAS over the internet. And, you know, so we did some testing today, and I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, it's pretty basic networking, and yet it just would not connect. And we tried a couple of different things. So we thought, well, let's do a live stream, not so much to show like, hey, this is how it works, but hey, this is what's happening. And again, he's really savvy with Synology. I mean, I like to think I'm pretty decent with Synology. I think Avi surpasses my skills with that. And if he can't figure it out, I mean, I was happy to help him today and do some testing. But I think the point in wanting to do the collaboration together is to say, like, to show you live what we're doing and what he's trying to achieve, and hope that maybe someone in the community can see something that we're not seeing, because there's not a lot of content out there on YouTube for that specific use case. Yes, there's a lot of content out there for, you know, doing it over a local network, like LAN, over the same LAN. But for some reason, we're getting stuck at the point where the source NAS has to authenticate to the target NAS, and all the port forwarding is in place, the port forwarding for the DSM login, as well as the port forwarding for the shared folder in LUN. So, I mean, that was all in place. I thought maybe he had given me a dynamic DNS for his, you know, as his WAN address. And I said to him, hey, you know, I've had some issues with dynamic DNS and site-to-site VPNs. Maybe the Synology, it just isn't liking the dynamic DNS. Let's try it with an IP address, and it's still, we couldn't get it to work. So anyway, I'm doing a little self-promotion for Avi and myself for next week. Next Saturday, I think at 2 p.m., we're going to try to go live and try to get it to work. But we know right now it's not working, and we're hoping that maybe, again, some of our good friendly techies out there can maybe give us a hand. So in any event, let's go back to the chat and see what we got going on. Hey, Joe, welcome back. No worries. I'm glad you're here. It was such a nice surprise to see you tonight. And hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate the super chat. Love the tan. Yeah, this is 2 days. I think Wednesday we were at the pool with the grandson, not godson, for about no, actually Wednesday I was in, I stand corrected. Wednesday I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for Myrtle Beach Bike Week. And yes, I was out in the sun all day. And Tuesday we were at the pool for an hour or so with the grandbaby. So yeah, I get pretty tan pretty quickly. So yeah, I'm pretty dark before you know it. Zach is saying actually the WAN port is 1 gig and the first port is 2.5 and can be configured as WAN LAN. I'm not sure on that, Zach. I mean, I'm not going to debate you. I'm not going to say no. I'm probably, I haven't dug too much into it, but I actually thought the dedicated WAN was a 2.5. But again, hey, maybe it is. Maybe you're onto something there, and I'll have to just check that out and confirm it. But yes, there are 2 WAN ports, and it can be set up for dual WAN. The mystery now is which one is the 2.5. But in any event. Hey, Ashley, welcome. Thank you for stopping in. Miss you too. And maybe one day we'll get to see each other not in a stream soon. TVJ says, I would love to help troubleshoot that live. Interesting. Well, be on standby next week, TVJ. Maybe we'll just do something crazy and bring a third guest into the show live. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we'd love to get to a resolution on that and figure it out. All right. Let's see. We don't. New York is waiting for you. Yeah. Oh, what? Did I skip David? Wait. There we go. New York is waiting for your visit, Tony. Yeah, David, I know. I am contemplating a couple of trips later this year. And I know we talked about it in the past. If time permits, I will definitely see what we can do. It would be cool to hook up and grab some lunch like we had spoken about in the past. But I will definitely keep you posted on that. All right. So you know what? 13 folks here, 7 likes. Guys, do me a favor. Just smash that like button. If you got any value out of the tonight's live stream, it was more for informational purposes. I just, again, not to repeat myself, but I just can't believe I got the level of support that I received in such a timely fashion. And I thought it was just definitely worth sharing. So, and Joe says, when is the stream with Avi? So we did a little call today, Joe, trying to do some troubleshooting together. And we're going to probably go live next Saturday at 2 p.m. And we'll be, he's never live streamed before. So he's got to get his stream set up and send me his stream key. So I'm going to stream to both channels. I gave him, I offered that to him, and we'll stream to both channels like we did with our SRT stream last month or the beginning of this month. And it should be fun. We're going to use Google Meet. I was playing around with that live today in our Zoom, not in our Zoom call, in our Google Meet call, with bringing him into the, bring him into the ATEM via a full screen, having him full screen on the monitor and playing with the audio so that, we get all that working, and did some testing with that, and it worked out really nicely. So that's what we're doing next Saturday, hopefully at 2:00, and hopefully there'll be somebody out in the audience there that could pick up on what we're missing. Like I said, I've done snapshot replication easily over a LAN from one NAS to another. Never attempted it over the network. And Avi is really savvy with that stuff. So for him and, two of us not to get it to work, I'm almost thinking that there's something either we're missing or there's just something about it that's not working. But in any event, next Saturday at 2 p.m. Let's see. David says, I will be in your, state. Okay. Stat. At first I read stat. I will be in your state in August. Oh, where about, David? On the southeastern coast. Well, we've talked offline. You know exactly where I am. Are you going to be in that area? Let me know. Maybe we can do lunch down here somewhere. Oh, bummer. Oh, well. That's cool, Jay. Watch the replay. Maybe you'll pick something up on the replay. But in any event, well, let's see. We're at 51 minutes. Almost 52 minutes. I never even asked you once, how's the video? How's the audio? I just kind of knew I wanted to roll right into it. So hopefully the video and the audio is fine. Let me know in the comments. And I want to thank you all for coming out on a Friday night and spending your time with me. I do appreciate it. If there's anything you'd like to see as far as videos coming up in the future, I think I'm going to be doing some Ubiquiti videos on some of the gear I got. Definitely doing the Synology router video. Have a few more Synology videos in mind. Definitely want to get that bare metal restore done once the programmers fix the glitch. So there's a couple of things coming down the pike, but oh, cool. Everything was 5x5. Awesome. Looked and sounded great. Have a great night and weekend. You too, Sean. Thank you, everyone, for being here again. Like I said, giving me your time to spend with me on a Friday evening is very much appreciated and dear to my heart. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all your support. Joe, again, thank you for the super chat. And I do want to mention, as I always do, the other creators that are here. Thank you for being here. Joe with Controlling Technologies, Jeremy with Practical IT, David with PE for Doers, DJ with DJ Ware with DJ Ware. Did I say TVJ? TVJ. All great YouTubers. Thank you for supporting me. I do appreciate it. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out. I'm scrolling through the chat quickly. Unky Joe, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Another great YouTube channel. Yeah, I think I got everybody. And if you're around next week, check out the live stream with Avi from Tech Me Out and myself. Once again, thank you all for being here. And as I say in every video, we'll see you all next time.